hear Dwight pop up, that's why.
What's up, guys? It's another episode of Off the Post Opinion Pieces. I'm your host, DJ Red Flat Hat. I don't know. It's not a red cap, but yeah, we'll call it red cap. You know me. And we're doing another opinion piece, but we have a new face down there once again. Who are these new people that keep popping up? They're just taking over the show. I'm just here to moderate and smile sometime, as you know I usually do. I'm going to let him introduce himself, tell you what he's discussing. As you can see from the title, it deals with a developmental academy that's coming up, which sounds awesome to me. Didn't hear anything about it because too many people were arguing about Hey-O and talking about like other like nonsense stuff that like probably didn't even matter for the most part. This is some good news, and I think this is something you guys should hear his view on it, and the other view, I guess, the opposing view, like you were telling me about before we went on air, of how some people are viewing it. But I think you guys should hear this out. So introduce yourself, tell them who you are, what you're about, some things you like. Maybe you like cake like me. I love cake, as you all know. There you go. It's all you, Jake.
All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Jake Mercer. I'm a huge soccer fan. I live down in Perrysburg, Ohio, which is a little suburb of Toledo in Northwest Ohio. I try to follow as much American soccer as I can. I follow both the men's and women's national teams, MLS, and WSL. I also follow Premier League and Liga MX a little bit. I coach at the youth level. I coach down at my hometown club in Findlay, Ohio, at a U10 boys team the past couple of years. So it's been fun. I still play a little bit, a couple rec leagues and pick up, play most of center back. So that's
nice. And so you say you still play a lot or whatever, and you coaching. Like, how long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching for about 3 years now. I took this team from U8 up to U10s. And
nice, man. Well done. That's what I'm trying to get into, the whole coaching. So yeah, it is fun, I bet. All right, let's jump into the topic. Since, like I said, this is a big topic. We even think when we were talking about it might end up leading to more shows on this topic, which I hope it does, because that'd be great. What is your topic, and what do you want to tell, like, how you view it?
Yeah, so the topic that piqued my interest recently was the story that was broke by Charlie Bone on SoccerWire.com. Is basically that U.S. Soccer is about to announce that they're starting a girls' equivalent to the Development Academy, which is currently run on the boys' side. Before I get into that too much, I kind of want to give a little bit of context on like why it was started for the boys' side, and what were the benefits to that. So back in 2007, MLS and U.S. Soccer were realizing that the youth landscape wasn't really producing players that were ready to play at the professional levels at the younger ages. MLS was still heavily reliant on the college draft system. Some clubs were realizing that if they had their own youth clubs, they could develop their players, get them ready for the professional level at younger ages. So hypothetically, you could take a kid from U9 up the ladder and sign them to their first team. One of the best examples in the U.S. is a team like New York Red Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
They're in an area that has access to New York metropolitan area, as well as some historic communities in New Jersey that are soccer hotbeds. And they had players they wanted to develop, but they didn't. They had two problems. One was that they didn't have a league infrastructure to really develop them to the best of their ability. And two, there wasn't really an incentive from MLS to go down, invest in youth players, and bring them up to their first team, because they would develop them at the younger ages in their academy, and then they'd go to college, and then they'd have to go through the draft system. So there was no mechanism to get them from the academy to their first team. So that's when U.S. Soccer stepped in and started the Boys Development Academy. Now, this is supposed to be an elite selective league that provides a more professional environment for players. Coaches have to have their USD license or above. They're exposed to the local U.S. Soccer technical staff. They play in a league that's actually a 10-month season, 30 games. So that gets them into a system where they're training 4 to 5 days a week and only have one game on the weekend. So like that's different from what you're used to, where I coached a team in the fall. We have a 10-week season. We cram in 10 games plus a couple tournaments. It's a couple games in a day sometimes.
Right, I've heard of that too.
It's very fast paced, hectic. You're not getting the same development days that this would set up. So it really puts the emphasis on better training. It didn't overwhelm the players with multiple games on the weekend. And in the process, because they're getting access to this training, they prohibited them from playing at the high school level. So you just stay with your team 10 months out of the year, get 2 months off, and then go again. So that was the league infrastructure solved right there. And then in 2008, MLS implemented the homegrown rule, which that gave us a mechanism to sign players like Giassi Zardes at LA.
Yeah.
He came up through their academy. Now he plays in the first team, national team. Will Trapp in Columbus. He's a good example. So, and also because that now they have this mechanism to sign their own players, MLS teams are moving a free-to-play system, and in which players are able to enter their academy and not have to pay the fees. So that gives
nice.
better access to everyone of any economic background. They can have access to playing at a higher level. So
because the major thing was pay to play. Yeah, it was the pay to play that people complained about.
Yeah. And so that's good. Other clubs are starting to move that way. I know that's kind of one of the things U.S. Soccer really wants, is that all the clubs that are in this development academy to move in that direction, to be like the MLS clubs where it's free to play. So that's the boys' side. Now the girls' side, they didn't implement anything along with that. So there's this void, which in 2009 was filled by the ECNL, which is the Elite Clubs National League. And basically, it's exactly like the Development Academy. They're set up. They have the exact same number of teams and conferences, actually. And they are the best available female youth soccer competition development platform in America at the moment. I was looking through their website and promotional materials, and they say that their league provides about 80 to 90% of almost every U.S. soccer youth team pool. So like the U20s, U17 teams, they're coming from those clubs because they have access to the higher level coaches.
Gotcha.
And as of 2015, 90% of their graduating class goes on to play at the collegiate level.
Wow,
so
that's insane.
It's a great level of access for these players if they can make a team in that league. Players such as Julie Johnston, Mo Bryan, and newbie Mallory Pugh, they've all gone through this league setup. So
Nice.
And they play a similar system, similar schedule to the Development Academy on the boys' side. They have regional, national tournaments where they're exposed to collegiate coaches, national team coaches. I mean, it's essentially the same, but it just doesn't have the same rubber stamp from U.S. Soccer that the boys' side does at the moment.
I got you.
So on the U.S. side, in 2014, there was a task force that was formed, and they had a bunch of meetings, and they were trying to think of ways to make girls' development better so that they can continue to improve on the national team success at the World Cup. And they last met in October 2014, at which around then, Sunil Gulati, he suggested that he hinted at they might implement this at the girls' level. And now fast forward to today, Charlie Bones' article on Soccer Wire, they said that there's an announcement that's pretty much imminent within the next week or so, with it scheduled to start in the fall of 2017. So that kind of gives them some time to get that off the ground. I think it's a good step in the right direction from U.S. Soccer because they've had a couple of missteps recently with gender equality. Having the women play on turf versus men are on grass, and the boys have this development academy and all this extra support, but the girls' side, there's the ECNL that's forging their own path and not getting the same development path that the boys are. So, a couple of issues that are facing this decision from U.S. Soccer. What happens to this ECNL? A lot of these clubs in ECNL, they're the exact same ones as the Boys Development Academy. So, they have a boys and DA, and then a girls in ECNL.
Right.
Do they switch over? Do they, and at that point, if you lose the majority of your clubs, what will happen to that league? Do you pull up more and become a de facto second tier? I don't know. Two is what will happen to high school girls soccer. Now the boys, it's prohibited. And right now, currently ECNL, that's one of the things they don't do is they don't enforce the prohibition of their players from high school. So they can go and play for their high school if their coaches schedule around it. And because that's not enforced, some girls do, which is what's not what their coaches want, because they want their players all year round. But sometimes the girls will have to juggle their DA or the ECNL along with their high school. So that's not great. I mean, when I was in high school, our season was, May and June was conditioning. Then you get a couple contact days. Then you get more conditioning in July. Then you start in August.
Right.
Weeks of two-a-days, a 10-week season where you cram in 20 games. Then you get and then you get playoffs for the state. And then you're done in like October. And then you have nothing until the spring season, where you have to go find a club. And in Ohio, there's a rule that limits, you're only allowed to have 5 players from each high school on a club team. So, my high school was split up amongst like 5 different select teams in Toledo, and go from there. So it's not like we ever got to get a good rhythm going year on year. We'd have to go split up and find new teams, new clubs, and sometimes you're not playing the same position, you're not getting that same development that you were, and it's just difficult. So I mean, in my opinion, it would be great if this girls DA would move away from the high school system. I mean, from what I just said, I don't think it really helps players develop as well as it could.
Right.
And really, lastly, I'm hoping that I'm stretching this a little bit, but it'd be great if there's a move from the pay-to-play system. If this would be great if NWSL clubs were to take on the MLS mantra that it's free to play for all their clubs. I don't even know if all the NWSL clubs have academy systems. I think Portland does, but I'm not sure if they even have a system set up. I think they have an off branch in Missouri, but I think I looked at the Red Stars. They do youth camps, but they don't even have an academy system.
Right. Yeah, and I think it is like I've only heard of like another one. Maybe I think one more might have one, but it's like I don't think all of them even have them set up. So.
Yeah, and I mean for ECNL, I mean I was looking at some of the comments on these stories, and parents are saying that costs are going to cost you up to $3,000 a year in fees just for coaching, and then you have to add in travel on top of that.
Right.
And some of these conferences, it's like Seattle, Portland, in the Northwest, but then they're grouped down with Bay Area clubs, so they have to. I mean, to travel to the Bay Area, you're gonna have to take a flight. And it's just astronomically expensive. You could easily imagine $15,000 a year on one player.
Jeez.
So I mean, it's kind of crazy. So hopefully, yeah. I mean, if the NWSL clubs would move in on the free to play system, that'd be great. The more the merrier. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, this is a really good move for U.S. soccer if they can implement this without creating an environment where they're having a power struggle with ECNL or high school coaches who are feeling that they're losing their best players.
That was about to be my question to you. Like, do the high school coaches feel like it's a fight for them? They're going to argue that they're losing their best players, and they won't like that at all. So that's going to be their main beef, probably.
I know on the boys' side, they have an exemption for some players who play at a high school on a athletic scholarship. Private high schools, Catholic schools, some of them have athletic scholarships, and I think there are some waivers available. But I mean, for the most part, it seems like U.S. soccer is clear that this is the development path they would like to go on. They want that training 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, and then one game on the weekend, a day to recover, and that's what you get at the professional level anyway.
Exactly.
So. Hopefully this is a good step in the right direction. I think this would be a great tool to create more players like Lindsey Horan.
High
school, she gets done with high school and she's ready to go pro. She goes to PSG, can go overseas, can find a club that is a professional environment and help her grow. So that I think that's what they want in the long term. It'd be great. So,
and it's kind of scary to think of with the field that if they do something like this, it will already strengthen an already strong pool. So I'm just trying to like think of that right now when you said that, like how the best players will be getting this pro training and development, and then we already are world champions and we already produce great talent. But imagine all these best players getting all this opportunity in this 10-month season, this good training, actual recovery time. It kind of scares me a bit to see what would happen with the U.S. if they do this. It'd be a great step forward, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, ECNL, they do attempt to create that system, but it doesn't have the same gravitas that they had the rubber stamp of U.S. soccer, I think. So.
Right, and that rubber stamp is always nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
And that's weird though. So you think that though that league will probably just fall apart or become a second tier type of thing for maybe like players that aren't that good, or what do you think?
It's hard to say. I know that the former commissioner of the league actually recently resigned, and she's actually working for the MLS expansion club, Atlanta United.
Okay.
There's a new commissioner of that league. I forget their name. I apologize, but they haven't provided comment to anyone on the topic. I know Charlie Bain's article said that he reached out to them, but they weren't able to get a comment. So.
Okay. I guess because they're already packing up shop now because they know what's about to happen. Bye-bye. No, it's just like for me, what I keep thinking when you said USSF is doing this, it feels like anything else is almost gonna. They can put up an argument, they could probably put up a reason why it shouldn't go down or what do it like that. But how are you gonna fight U.S. Soccer's Federation almost against something like this?
I mean, they do have an expertise in the area. They reach out into the communities, so they kind of have a little bit of local know-how. But at the same time, the U.S. Soccer runs the boys equivalent and seems to work fine with that. So if they can continue to get that standard up, I'm pretty sure an ECNL as well that they charge a fee for clubs to come in. U.S. Soccer is just a minor registration fee. I think it's like $15 a player, and like $20 for coaches. So I mean, it's a nominal fee, and they really want the best of the best there. I mean, if you get selected for it, you know that you are one of the top clubs in the nation, and that you're going to be playing other clubs that are professionally run. So
right. Dang, I'm really looking for faults in this thing right now. It just sounds so good, especially because it's not like they're gonna. It sounds great on all aspects. It's weird to think, but I can see people fighting it. But it sounds great on many levels. So it's good. I like that. Actually, really good, Jake, on that opinion piece. I appreciate you bringing that to us. Anything else you want to say about it? Or you're all set and good.
I think I covered it pretty well. Hopefully, it wasn't too overly simplified for everyone. Hopefully, didn't lose anyone in the explanation, but I think I was trying to make sure everyone understood that this is coming from the boys' side, and I would assume that they're trying to run it essentially the same way, and I think it has a good history with MLS clubs reaching down there to find talent. I think it could have similar effect for NWSL clubs. If this was in place, from the start, maybe a Mallory Pugh would choose to go with the NWSL over a UCLA because she thinks
right. And you think the NWSL should definitely get involved with this, right? Should get connected with it just like MLS teams.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, MLS clubs. If you look at Dallas, they're signing homegrown.
Yeah, they're
right. New York signed 7, in the off season alone.
Right.
So it's
that's awesome, dude.
Cool. And hopefully it'll just keep growing and more access for everyone and continue to provide players with a way to get to the professional level. Even if it's not the U.S., maybe they can get to Sweden or France or a professional league in Europe where they can continue their development. And then maybe like Iran make their way back. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Jake. That was perfect. Guys, I think we're going to have to definitely have a discussion about this, especially if you have opposing views on it or you have a different way you're looking at it. Please leave your comments below if you want to. And I'm guessing I'll even ask the panel. Maybe we'll get a panel together later on since we're not going to really have any games until February to see if we can get something together to discuss this again because that was amazing. It's like I said, it was good to hear some other news other than the other stuff that everyone at sometimes a bit have been crying about it. You guys can't lie. You've been crying about some of the news. Don't. So let's hopefully get a good report like this that actually is going to matter and help the development of the league. So, like I said, leave some comments, subscribe. I'm DJ Redcap. You will see Jake again this season during the WSL season with other news and hopefully good stuff like that, man. I appreciate it so much because it was so good. Gets me all giddy. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's something different than what else has been on Twitter. So that's all, guys, and we will talk to you all next time. Take care. Oh, yeah, you got to do the wave because we wave every time we leave out. So you got to do like it's a little funny wave we do. There we go. We got you. Yeah. Yep. Take care, guys.